on camera. Come like.
Like all creepy. Hey,
like,
hi.
Welcome back to Meet Me at Zero. My name is Maria, and I'm excited to talk today
now I have
about.
a water mustache. Hold on.
I'm like, I was like, oh,
I'm gonna laugh at this one.
I'm like,
I'm gonna die.
I'm like, oh,
Right.
I do a lot of hand movements. Like my whole
Me
thing.
too.
My friends are like, my best friend has a thing where she like does things with the eyes. She's like, and my thing is like, what? Like, yeah. Like my hand just starts spazzing. Like, what did you want to do? Okay, start over. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Maria with Meet Me at Zero, and I'm very excited to do this video today. We've been working on it. Aisha thought about it about a month ago, and we're having a hard time getting together. But we are going to talk about why female friendships are so hard, and this is my niece Ajelian and my friend Aisha, and I will let them each introduce themselves and potentially how old they are. I am 48.
I'm 16.
I'm 32.
And we're just here to discuss the dynamics of why female friendships are so hard. You want to kick it off? What do you think?
Sure. With female friendships, it's all like the mindset, what we've been raised to expect and what we've been raised to know and how to act and everything. And with people, it's kind of like girls have to be this perfect, prim, like cookie cutter something. And if we're not that, we're weird, or oh, she's not a good friend and all this stuff. And I just feel like with girl relationships, we have to compete.
I'm 16 and I'm still in high school, so I have more of like a younger perspective. And female friendships are just always different. Like people always think that girls are too much drama, or they're too much like to handle, or too emotional, like all this stuff. And I feel like it's been brought up on us, like it's always been in the like family home, like oh, girls are hormonal, like girls are always gonna be dramatic, and it's like it's a bad feeling when girls have to feel like they have to compete in friendships, or like be better than somebody else, or try to match up when there's no connection. It's like just not okay.
I am 32. I think female friendships are so difficult because there's a lack of communication that goes on in friendships. Too many times things go unsaid and people expect someone, or they assume that the other person knows how they're feeling. And if your needs aren't being met, you need to voice those concerns instead of burying them. Then all this animosity comes up, and that's when the backstabbing starts, because now you're going to other friends to talk about your current friend. When if you guys just would have sat down and had an adult, mature conversation, all of that could have been avoided, because what you saw was a problem, the other person never even realized was an issue.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with wholeness. I think it has to do what your needs are as a friend, what you're willing to give as a friend. If the friendship is worth the sacrifice or the investment, because that's the way I see it. Everybody that comes into your life is not a friend for life. I just think we're supposed to exchange some energy or some nuggets. But going back to what she was saying and you were saying is, I think as a society, we have been taught that we're competing with each other. A lot of stuff that we do is learned behavior. For me, my mom didn't have best friends growing up. I was best friends with my cousins. And so I really didn't start having friends till later. I can get along with anyone from different age groups. Most of my friends are at least 10 years younger than I am. So the dynamics are very different. But I just think it has to do with growth, with where you are in regards to your wholeness, what your expectations are in regards to friends, because, we have friends, some are having kids, some are getting married, some are changing schools. And so is the person worth the sacrifice to continue the friendship? So what does friendship mean, or what does it look like to you?
Oh, I thought that was a rhetorical question.
No, I didn't tell me. What is a friend?
A friend to me is someone that I can call on if I'm feeling down, or someone that understands me, that sometimes, I'm not going to be that person who's going to reach out first. I'm not going to be the person who might, and send out the invitation. I'm not that person who's going to call you every single day. So friendship to me is someone who can accept me for who I am at my core, and I don't have to act a certain way to make the friendship work.
Okay, what about you? With me, friendship or just like the whole thing, I think of it as if we can connect on like a deeper level, and I feel like I don't have to be with you all the time, but when we are apart for a long time, we get back together, no time has passed. And I love that connection. I don't have to feel like I need to depend on them like 24/7,
Same.
or as if I need them to be me. Like I can be myself around them, and they accept me, and I accept them, and they're just like someone that I don't have to act, like impress or like think, oh, I have to be this or like be a standard for them. When it should be like we connect, we have energies that vibe together, then I feel like that's a good friendship. Like it doesn't matter.
Friendship has to do with connection, unconditional love. A friend to me doesn't have to be somebody who likes what I like or the same religion. It's just somebody that wants to be connected to me at a different level, and to me it's all spiritual, and that we're working together, investing in the relationship equally.
So what does unconditional mean to you?
Unconditional means to me that if you need me and you need to talk, you need me to pray for you, I'm there for you. And if I need someone, I should count on you to be there.
So do you think there's a fine line between unconditional and taking advantage? Because there are some people who love unconditionally, they're always there for you. And there are people who will always take advantage of that. Like, well, I know she's going to help me. I know she's going to bail me out. Should you always be there? Are you a crutch to that person?
I feel like you should have your own like alone time. Like you can be unconditional, but like there's some times where you have to be by yourself. And if somebody needs you, like they have to know like I need my time like right now. Like if you're going through something, I will try to help you, but I need to decompress also. Like it shouldn't be like whenever you need me, like I should be there for you. Like I should, but I also need like time to think and to decompress and like have my own thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, when I say unconditional, I'm not talking about 24/7. I'm just saying if you call me a week from now, you say, Maria, I have something going on. Can we talk? I was like, if I'm busy, I'm going to say, I can't talk to you right now. Give me 30 minutes or give me, a few hours.
Oh, I understand that. But what about the friend that always has a problem? Like their life is just a hot mess and there's always a problem.
Well, you have to give the advice like, hey, why is it a hot mess and what can we make to make that better? Because it's like, there's always going to be problems and why is that?
But is the friendship, is it really unconditional love if you are burnt out from always being there? Or was it conditional?
I think that you can unconditionally love somebody, but there's a time that you have to let them go. I think that there's relationships that are toxic. I think that there are people that are drainers, that they don't have anything to contribute to your life. And I think we just meet people for a season and we're supposed to, tell them, because I would say that we share a lot of all three of us share that we're blunt, that we're straight to the point, that we're independent, independent, strong women. And so I think that people tend to gravitate sometimes to us because they know we're going to give them that truth that some other people don't give them. However, some females are not ready for that truth. So they want the benefit of being with you and they like that they have your accessibility and your attention. Mm-hmm. But when you start speaking truth or you start telling them, then they'll take it. And then next thing you know, they're ghosting, that you won't hear from them again, or the relationship would just dissipate. There's nothing there.
But also, both of you touched on earlier, there's these expectations to come from being a woman, like you're supposed to be a nurturer, you're supposed to be there. So when do you know that it's time to sever the friendship, or when do you know you need to keep pouring love into that person? Like, how do you know someone's toxic?
You know when to sever the friendship when you feel like you are emotionally drained from always trying to be the person that they want to be. Like, always trying to be like, I'm here for you, and they're like, okay, thank you, but I'm not gonna be there for you. Like, I'm gonna talk with myself, you fix me, and then I'll come back to you when you need to fix me again. And like, it's like, it has to be back and forth. Like, if I'm there to help you out and I need you, be there for me, because if you're not there for me and I'm always there for you, that's toxic because you're using me. Mm-hmm. And that's when like, I need to separate myself or tell them that the friendship is not gonna work unless we are both giving the same amount. If you're giving me 50%, I'm gonna give you 50%. If you're giving me 75, I'll give you 75. It's not gonna be me 100 and then 5%, because that is when the line is drawn, and I'm like, you know what? We talk about it. We fix that, or I'm.
Is
gonna
that
be done.
fair to say though? Like some people are in different stages of their wholeness journey. So at one point in the friendship, I may need more, and one point in the friendship, you may need
And
more.
that's okay. And like, not everybody's gonna be whole. It just they need to know that when to be whole, you have to work on yourself, and you can't depend on somebody else 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And like, you can find that wholeness and be like, I need you to help me, and like, I will help you in every way that you need to become whole to yourself, but not for me to give you my wholeness because you can't find that on your own. I'm going to give you ways to find that, and if you can't do that and you're always trying to drain my wholeness, that is where it just needs to be different. Like, I give them that advice, like, hey, I need my time. You need to do this. Like, you need to hang out with yourself, talk to yourself, give your mind a break, and figure out what you need to be you. And like, to figure out, because not everybody knows who they are. And they need to just sit there and be like, here's what happened, here's what I want to happen. And there's people who are older and they still don't know who they are, and that's okay. But like,
It's not okay.
But like, sometimes that's just like how they were raised, and like, it's not okay. And they just need someone there to like guide them, because some people are followers, some people are leaders.
Yeah.
And it can switch off. Like, I'm a leader, but I also follow because I can always learn. And that's what people need to open their mind. Like, if I'm telling you a way to get better and to become more whole, to fix our relationship, like, take that into consideration, and like, the relationship might just get better from there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't like to be accountable for those actions. You gave them the advice and then they don't do anything with it because it's easier to be, the victim. And so how do you move on from a friendship if someone always wants to be, the person who needs rescuing?
That's where you have to give them the talk and be like, here's what you're doing. And like, that's where bluntness is kind of a good thing, because you have to like give them, here's what you're doing. This is how it's affecting me. This is my feelings. This is my validation. Like, you're going to take this into consideration. You do whatever you want. But if you can't see or that what you're doing is hurting other people and not just yourself, that's a problem. And that's where you need to just sever that friendship and be like, you need to fix on yourself. If you need me, I will always be there for you, but not as it was before where you were using me.
Yeah, because I think we could be kind to everyone.
Yeah.
I just think that it comes a point where if you're not getting anything out of a relationship, and this is, to me, it's God as meet me at zero. So our relationship to God is that we stay connected. He wants us to voluntarily seek Him, that stay connected, and so then we're better, stewards of our time with each other. But when you don't have anything, if you don't know who you are, and like you said, we're all in different stages, so it's not that I'm better in my wholeness than you are. We're just at a different season, period. So you and I can relate, because we have lately bounced off. We've known each other for 8 years, and I would say probably in the last few months we can talk about, our faith, and we share a lot that we bounce off each other.
Memes.
And so that's growth between you and I, and so we're feeding off each other. You're elevating me, I'm elevating you, even if it's a small conversation. But if you have nothing to offer but foolishness and drama, and you just want somebody to follow your craziness, or you need somebody to tell it to, but you're not willing to make a change, and it becomes a pattern, then I have to let you go. And it doesn't mean that I won't pray for you, and it doesn't mean that if you, if something that, tragic or great happened, that I wouldn't be there. You just can't keep going in a cycle with these people, because you're not doing them any service. And so until they're willing to work on their wholeness and their needs versus their wants, because another thing, we've been taught that we need, to have 100 friends, that we need to fit into this box, and we have to be accepted. You really don't need any of that. You need to accept yourself the way God accepted you. And it's easier to be a friend when you love yourself well. You can love another person, and so you have more compassion, grace, and mercy. With that said, you're not going to let somebody come and abuse, your goodness. But I think that a lot of times friendships with women are hard because it becomes a competition. It becomes a hate. It becomes, I don't like Aisha, so let me get her convinced that she doesn't like her. And it becomes this competition and this struggle versus working together. I think in a lot of society and in communities, women were supposed to build each other up and, you know, help each other out, and it has not turned into that. It turns into, if she's doing better than me, you're driving a better car than me. Damn, how
It depends too, culturally too, because if you look on, you know, we're in the East Coast, and you have women out here, you know, there's 3 women. I think now it's 5 women to every 1 man. And so friendships are not tight knit. But if you go on the West Coast where it's the opposite, it's 3 guys for every 1 woman, they have very solid friendships over there. They value friendships over, you know, boyfriends, husbands, whatever. And over here, because we are, like you said, competing for mates, we're competing for attention, then that cattiness is seen throughout friendships, and people aren't staying together for that reason.
For the record, none of us are in that category. Just explain, I am not chasing needy over anybody. I'm
Amen.
just saying.
Me either. I don't.
But it's what we see.
Let me not say that.
It's what's out there, and so that's why we're here to discuss it, because like you said, it becomes a competition of needs. You have women, you know this, you have circle of girls, and there's, you know, the one girl that, you know, she's flirting with everybody, or she's the one that's doing the dirt, and people remain friends for the wrong reason. Mm-hmm. Sometimes just to put her down or just to know her stuff, you know, and it's not really about the intent of being better for her or her for you. It's just, you know, we want the association, we want the company, because we don't want to be alone with ourselves.
I wanted to touch on, like, sometimes you become friends with someone to better their life. Like, you walk in someone's life and you know that it's not going well, and you are put in their life to help them be better. And it's like, it's not, it could be long term, it could be short. Like, you can walk in someone's life and know that they need help and help them out, and like their life gets better, and like that friendship may be cut, but you know that you guys always have the connection of like everything. So sometimes when like girls like always think that they're competing or something, like they need someone there to be like, hey, you're doing this, like we can be friends, like if you need my help, like I will help you, I'm here for your life, and you can help them out, and then like it might not last. Like you can walk into somebody's life and change their life and like leave, and they're like, you know what, I will always remember that person.
Yeah.
And that's like
I think that comes with maturity, because there's a lot of people who feel like, oh, if you cut me off as a friend, then we have beef and I don't like you anymore. Even if it didn't end badly, you just stopped talking. People are like, I don't like her anymore. Why did you do that? You're a bad person.
And that just comes with not being able to see that sometimes friendships don't last for reasons. Like it might not last for anything. Like nothing would have happened, but we just stopped talking. Like just remember that before we did not stop talking, like we were friends. We were
just
good.
Because you stopped talking too doesn't mean that the friendship's over.
Yeah.
I want to say that, 'cause I've had a friend that I had, like one friend since high school, and we fall out all of the time. And then I got back on social media and we picked back up. She's like, hey, let's get in contact again. I'm like, wow, like we pick up like nothing happened. There's no this, where did you go? Why did you disappear? Like none of that. When you're constantly being nagged, like it kind of turns you off from the friendship, you know?
Yeah, because women tend to be needy. And so I need my alone time.
Yeah.
So I don't mind going on vacation by myself, going out by myself. But there's some people that love to run in a pack. They need the support. They need what you have, your independence, or they need your strength. You know, oh, I want to be like Jillian, or
we're not judging those kind of
people. Yeah, no, we're just kind of discussing the dynamics. And so it's okay sometimes. For me, I personally need my alone time. But when we're talking about why our friendship's so hard, I think that it comes from what the needs are of the person that is seeking the friendship.
Exactly.
So I know what I have to offer. I know where I'm at in life. I know what my faith is, my values, what time I have, the investment, because everything is an investment. Because if I'm your friend and I want you to call me every day or text me every day, or we want to have drinks every day or party, I'm not into all that.
Right.
You know, but I'm definitely here, you know this, I send you memes and about foolishness, and some of it's, you know, faith, faith-based, and sometimes it's animals, but we stay connected, you know, and so I think that when it's genuine and when it's spiritual and when we're kind of in a similar walk, even though we're in different times in life, then we kind of feed off each other, and we can work on being better. I just think that when you have females that are not certain of where they're at, that have not worked on their wholeness, that sometimes even with jealousy, they might look at you and say, well, she thinks she's better. Aisha thinks she's better. Why is she so happy? You know, because as women, we tend to want, how does misery loves company? So even though I might be in a bad relationship or I might not be so great, I'm not going to let you on. And I want you to think this is the greatest thing since apple pie when you know damn well it's not. And so it takes a genuine person. I think we're the same way, a blunt person, to say, no, this is the reason I'm not compromising, or no, this is not where I stand. And so that might, break the relationship off. Or it might make it stronger and say, hey, I respect her for telling me, because a lot of times we hang out together and we don't tell the truth. We're laughing, somebody can have a tag on the back of their dress and nobody says anything until after in their life.
In their teeth.
Thank you. And so a true friend would say, hey,
I'd be like, hey,
right,
go fix it.
Like, you walk around the whole day like this, you're not a real friend.
No, and it's just the little things. But
that's why, like, sometimes when you're friends with a guy, it's more easier and like more like they don't have that feeling of competition, or like, oh, I need to be friends with her because it's gonna help me be better. And like, I guess that's why girls gravitate to have more guy friends than girlfriends, because guys don't see it as a competition or don't see it as a one-upping thing. They just kind of like, if I like to hang out with her, but like I like to hang out with her. It's not like
you're
any
cool, you're
like
cool.
Yeah. And I love when I can be able to talk to a guy and not have that feeling of, oh, he's gonna go and like spread it, or like he's gonna go and do this, because that's how
he's not hating on you.
Yeah,
it's
like,
just different the way.
And like, it's just how girls like we're just wired. Like, and it's not okay. Like, some girls just like have in their brain, oh, she told me this like personal stuff, I have to go and say that.
Exactly.
And like, it severs that like thing of,
that
oh,
trust.
I can't be like friends with girls. Like, let me gravitate to guys.
Mm-hmm.
And guys are just, we're raised differently, and they have a different mindset and different, just like how they were always ideal. Like, guys are more like chill, more cool. They were always given that no expectation box. That's why sometimes when the guy walks in your life and you're like, oh, I want this and this and this, they're like, no, I was never told that. But girls are like, oh, we need to be this, we need to be that, like all that.
I just think we've been conditioned, to expectations, to what the checkbox. I think it's traditional. We hear about it all the time, and it shouldn't be that way.
And I think you made a very good point too, is, when you're confiding in someone who should be your friend and you have the doubts that they're going to go and tell that gossip to someone else, then that severs trust. And if you don't trust someone, then you're no longer comfortable being vulnerable with them. And if you don't have vulnerability in a relationship, then you're not going to grow, and it's not going to build, and you're not going to reach, that point where you get to unconditional love.
I just feel like some girls nowadays, like, they just can't, they feel like they can't be vulnerable because of the way we've been conditioned. Like, oh, we're vulnerable, that means that we're emotional, or like, we're this, we're that.
I get that.
And we get placed in the box of, oh, don't talk to her because she's too emotional, she's too this, but it's really just us letting feelings out, and those feelings being turned into something bad.
And so much growth comes from vulnerability. Like, you have to get comfortable being vulnerable. Even if you know it's going to cost you in the long run, you have to be comfortable with that, because that is where true connection and meaningful connections are built.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think, for me, I think I have more guy friends than girlfriends, even though I get along with, most of my friends are way younger than I am. Just because I can be blunt, I'm not as emotional as other females, and I guess it could be because of age, more mature. I have my crazy side, and my loud side.
I may seem like this, but I'm very emotional.
Yeah,
like, I'm blunt, and then I'm like,
no,
I want to cry more. I wish I could
You
cry.
do?
Yeah.
No, I'm
Sometimes
more.
a good cry is healthy.
I mean, I have.
oh, good cries are very much healthy. No, if you need to cry, cry.
I mean, I've been
Like,
emotional lately because I think I'm having some extra summers, that time of that stage in life. Sweet Jesus. But emotional
getting
as
real
in,
up in here.
no,
Right.
emotional. I mean,
Meet me at
emotional.
0.
Yes, emotional in the sense that you have girls that are constantly crying. They constantly have the worst scenario all the time, and it's like this cycle they're in. That if you look at the pattern of how you were brought up, your circle,
But like, that pattern can always be broken.
Yeah.
It just needs the effort. Like, some girls stay in that pattern because they don't understand that they're the one. They might be the reason, or they might not be the reason, but they need to change something.
Circles back to accountability.
Yeah.
They don't want to own it. You have to take ownership of
And
your
a lot
life.
of times-
And that comes with maturity. Like,
Yeah.
to own something, it takes a lot of maturity to be like, you know what, that's my fault.
But this is
Right.
another thing. Love language for people, it could be that they act that way to get attention. A lot of times that's the only way they know how to get attention.
Yeah.
So I think
That's
that when it comes to female friendships, for me, I don't have a ton of them. I think that we meet people in life for a season. A lot of time people will stay in your life. Very few people will stay in your life from the beginning to the end. But I just think that, you know,
There's so many people who can say, I was friends with Aisha. There's not many that can say, I'm still friends with Aisha.
Well, I'm different. I'm different.
I'm
Like,
still here.
I'm so different. When people know me and I genuinely want like a friendship with you, we last. Like I have one best friend who I've known for 8 years now, another one I've known for 11 years, and one that I've known now for about 3 years, and every single one I have different relationships with them, but I still feel myself.
Listen,
Like
if there's any friends that know me more than 6 months, put your name in the comments.
Oh my God.
you are important. Like I could meet
God.
someone.
If we've had a long friendship, you're a real one.
Like I could meet someone next week and like feel like, oh, like I've been friends with you for my whole life.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's just like it comes with connection, and it comes with if I feel comfortable with you, be grateful, because I don't feel comfortable with a lot of people, and usually it's more I feel comfortable with guys because again girls tend to
I get comfortable
judge.
with people. People get very comfortable with me, and I build connections
Same
very
here.
fast,
I
like
think,
rapidly, and then I get burnt out also very rapidly. I'm like, you know what? This was fun.
At this
but
point, when
Yeah.
I like feel comfortable with someone and like we have a good friendship, and then I'm like ghosted or like burnt out, I'm like, you're missing out, bro. Like I am there for you. If you stop being my friend, but you need me in like 3 months, I'm gonna text you and be like, hey, I'm here for you, no matter
Sometimes
what.
I need someone to be there for me by not being there for me, if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
Like, it means so much to me when someone is there. Like, I know that I can count on them, but they're not hovering over
like-
me. Like,
You don't feel like,
the
oh,
Grim
you need to
Reaper.
text me like every day. Like,
Exactly.
be like, oh, I know I can go to them whenever, and they're gonna be there for me. It doesn't mean that like I need to always be like talking to them. Like they can just that friendship of being that connection.
Yeah.
And
And
that's-
it comes back to setting the expectation. Like, what do you need for this friendship to work? You know, what do I need for this friendship to work? And sometimes I just need you to leave me alone. Like, it sounds harsh. And, like, as a
Oh, no.
woman, you're not supposed to say that. But I just want to be left alone. That's all I want.
And that time by yourself is good.
yes, because you need the time to be by yourself, to connect with God, to connect with yourself, to retain your wholeness.
But not enough
to
people are
purge
busy
from-
enough working on themselves, you know?
Yeah, because I think that's key. I think that we can connect with each other for a time, and then we have to separate to allow some growth to happen between us. And I'm trying to think, what things do you think we could do to foster a better relationship with other women, or what things we should or shouldn't do?
It's
I
just,
think being accountable, again, I know, like I've confessed to you guys, I'm not the best friend on the planet. I'm working on that. I'm working on being more available to people because, you know, friendships are not going to be one-sided. You know, one person can't be giving and someone can't be taking. So I think knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are and talking those things out,
yes.
it's crucial in a friendship. The same expectations you would have for your spouse and your mate, you need to have for your friends, your true friends.
Yes.
Okay.
I just feel like communication is key, and like it doesn't have to be like every day, but knowing that you can have a talk with someone and it means something, and they know like what you want in something, or like the expectation that you set for yourself, and not like, oh, my expectation for this person is lower than that one. No, it needs to be a standard where you know for yourself, this is what I need, this is what I want. And to have a good friendship, there needs to be that feeling of I connect with you, you connect with me, you understand me, and you accept me.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways. And if
Yeah.
you can't accept them, why bother being friends with them and put them down instead of just being like, you know what, they're like that, and it's okay. Like I can be okay with that.
Yeah, because I think we talked about it earlier, and I think I posted something on social media that the same expectations we have on friendships are the same expectation about relationships with a guy.
Yeah.
And to me, relationships, you know, for some people it's a taboo, it's a title, but for me, relationship is a connection with whoever. And for me, I'm like you. I connect quickly. We all do. We are people, ladies. We connect with people fast. People open up about stuff. I talk to people about. I walk into a grocery store and I can talk. All of a sudden, they're telling me their life business.
Right.
You know,
I
and
walk
so,
into a classroom and people are like, I know you. Can we talk? I'm like,
yeah,
let's go. Let's talk. I'm like, I don't gotta go
Listen, you
nowhere.
didn't catch me on the right day. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
No, but it's,
Yeah, some days I'm just like, I'm I'm busy.
Right.
We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, but you also have that when you set that standard for what you're willing to put up and not put up, and what you're willing, and that goes not only with a guy, but it goes with girls too, because we're ruthless sometimes with each other, or we're inconsiderate, and so.
And then it's so funny you said that, because females will cut off other female friends for the smallest things, but then they will put up with the world for a terrible guy. Like,
yeah,
he didn't treat you right.
And
He
it's
didn't
just the
call you.
expectation and the mindset that we were raised up in, like we should
And your
accept.
friend missed one text from you, and now you're mad at her and you hate her and you want to cut her off and give her an ultimatum when you didn't do that for the guy that you're dating.
Yeah, and it's just
So
again
backwards.
the way that we are raised, and like the expectation that society sets for girls is so much higher than it is for guys. And like I guess that's why it's always harder to be friends with girls, because we have that expectation in our head, like we have to be this, and if we're not this, we're letting down like everybody. And that's I don't believe in that, but it is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I just think in the measure in which we get to know God and we have our personal time with Him and we get to love ourselves. If I love myself well, I can love you well.
Yes.
If I don't love myself well, then I'm going to treat you like
You
crap.
can't
Exactly.
give
That's
your
just the
whole-
reality. It's a
It
byproduct.
doesn't
So
get any
people
realer than
treat
that.
people treat you how they really feel,
Yeah.
and you have to really pay attention to that. And so when it comes to females, because we are emotional, sometimes some women need more attention, more hugs, more follow up.
And that's okay.
But then,
Because it's
and
the
that's
way
okay
that
if
they
it's a
need.
season and is that what they need for a minute.
Yeah.
But the moment it turns into a job, and the moment I'm feeling that I'm depleting, then it's the moment I have to let you go.
Yeah.
And I'm still here per se, and I'm still gonna pray for you, and I'll check on you, every so often. I just can't be
Yes.
there for you to drain me dry and then expect
Exactly.
me not to be a good friend. And the other point I wanted to make is, you're younger. I'm the oldest one. So, for example, my best friend is a mom, and she has a child, and so I have to consider that we can't always hang out, and sometimes we have to plan, and sometimes we only get to see each other 3-4 times a year because we have to make the time. It took us 2-3 weeks to get together because we're all working.
It did.
And so this
Working
is like the
team.
realistic of life. You and I hang out not too long ago at Belk's, and that was, forever and a day since you work from home.
Yeah.
But, in the real scheme of things, I can't say, well, she's not my friend
wish.
because she doesn't find the time. And, and
Yeah.
I get invited to all kinds of events. I'm not, first of all, even though I look younger, I'm not a party girl.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a time and a place for everything. And I love socializing with people, but I also need my alone time.
And I think people have to realize too that not everyone's priorities are the same. So, piggybacking off what you said, you get invited to all kinds of events, but if that's not where your priorities are, that's not fun for you. It doesn't mean you don't want to hang out with that person, but we need to find something that's enjoyable. I like to travel. So if I have a friend that wants to go out every weekend, that's cutting into a budget that I'm reserving for something else.
Right.
That's not important to me, and that's important to you. Then this friendship's probably not going to last because our priorities are totally different,
Right.
and you're going to feel like I'm neglecting you because I don't want to spend my money that way.
Yeah. It's kind of like equally yoked. I was talking about that today. So as friends, I think that people come into our life on a mission, and we go into their life because we're, like you said, we remain teachable. We learn from each other.
Yes.
And then there's a time.
Life for a reason.
Yeah, there's a reason that we're kind of fingerprinting around. But then there's a time of growth, and growth requires isolation. It requires you going through stuff, and so and there's some journeys. There's some journeys that we can hold. Yeah, we can hold somebody's hand sometimes, and sometimes we're just not there. That's not what God wants for us to do. It's just either to give them a word or to set somebody straight. Because being a friend is not only catering to what you want to hear. Sometimes it's what you don't want to hear.
What you need to hear.
Yes, in a different sense. And so, for me, I think that for female friendships to be lasting, you have to be transparent. You have to be willing to be vulnerable and be yourself above all. Like, I'm not changing who I am to please you. You're not. I don't expect you to change to please me. But a lot of people expect. I want you to change. I want you to dress like me. I don't want you to do crap. I want you. I'm your friend because you're different, and I see usually people that are completely opposite to me, so I can learn something about the next person. And so if you start changing, then you're taking away from their freedom. You're taking away from their wholeness when you're attempting to change somebody's the way they are. And sometimes it takes somebody growth. We can't change bad behaviors because somebody has to, learn out of their addiction. They have to learn out of whatever hole they're in.
Don't we know
We might have the tools to say, hey, this is what you need to do, but if they don't want to take it, then you have to let them go down the rabbit hole.
Exactly.
You know?
It's kind of like you put that out there, and if they don't want to take it, that is not anything that you should feel bad about. It's kind of like, you know that you helped in your way, and if they don't take it and don't better themselves, that should not be on you. You should feel as if you did something good and like you tried your best.
Yeah. And I just think as women, we need to, instead of being haters of each other, we really need to support what the next person's doing, even if it's not the same thing I'm doing. Like, I'm so proud of you that you're doing your travel. I told you we need to take a trip. You started your blog, which I absolutely love to read.
Thank you.
And then Jillian, she's very independent. My sweet niece, very mature. We have a lot of similarities.
Yes, I wanted to say that it's not just like women supporting like other women or like girls supporting other girls. Like, it should be like everybody supporting everyone. Not just like, I need to make sure that I'm supporting girls, but then putting down guys, or like
No.
Like, not that you're saying that, but like, I just feel like it should be as you help everyone, not just people who you think should need it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know if anybody's going through something.
Oh yeah, I understand that, but because we were talking about female friendships, instead of tearing each other down, competing with each other, and creating these circles, you don't like her, you don't like her, let's interview.
And
it's more of, we should be striving to be better.
I think what you're saying is we have so many barriers and obstacles all the time. There's enough putting us down. If you see another woman, like, just go out of your way to boost her up. Give her a compliment, because you have no idea. Like, we know everyone's going through things, but if you see another woman, there's no harm in giving her props.
Yeah, because social media, the world is designed. If you look at things from the spiritual realm, things are designed to tear us down, to take away our joy, to make us feel like we're worthless. And our society and our culture has completely engulfed itself in this foolishness. So when you look at social media, when you look at TV, and they're glamorizing certain women, and they're putting some women down, and they're applauding bad behaviors and certain body types, and certain cars. We set these wrong expectations about what our relationship should be with ourselves and then with each other. And so I think that's the biggest problem. So when you look at it in the spiritual realm, I think that it comes down to working on ourselves, to breaking from the box, from not conforming to what society tells us, even though it's what everybody else is doing. It's just being different. I think we do that.
And working on your spirituality. You keep touching base on that. I was a very incomplete person. And I also was not a Christian person. Once I started walking on my spiritual journey and finding Christ, and becoming whole, that's when everything made sense, And you cannot fully work on yourself until you establish that relationship with God. He will show you what your purpose is and who's supposed to be in and out of your life. And you will see how things just start manifesting out of nowhere.
Yeah, because I've known you for about 8 years, and I want to say I've seen a transformation in the last year or two, big time.
Everyone has. People are like, I can't even recognize you. They're just like, I thought you'd be in jail by now. You cut someone out.
No, it's just,
here I am, glowing and growing.
But like, how surprised you?
Surprise!
yes, but it's
Jesus got me, y'all.
plot twist. No, but it's like, it's a good thing. And so I've always told you, I'm very proud of you. And I think I've told you this a lot of times, because you bought a home very young. How old were you? In your 20s? 26, you bought your first townhouse, you have a beautiful car, you're a dog mom, you're doing the damn thing. And so it's hard. It's hard when you have women my age that don't have it as well put together as you.
You have it put together.
But I'm saying women in general, sometimes in my age group don't have what you have accomplished. And a lot of times they won't.
Well, that's what they say. Comparison is the thief of joy.
What I'm saying,
just because you're a certain age and you didn't get there,
don't ever compare. Your life is always different.
No. But
I know what you're saying. I want people to know. Just because someone did something younger doesn't mean that it's it for you and your life is a failure.
No.
We have to go through these cycles, and everything happens when it's supposed to happen.
We're not attacking you.
No, I'm just saying that she's like, wholesome, bubbly. I love her, her personality, but I've seen a big change spiritually in the last 2 years, and we've known each other for 8 years.
Yeah.
And you're very accomplished, and I love that you're traveling and living your best life and walking in your purpose. And that's important, because when you get to that point, until you reach that point, you don't know what it feels like.
You don't.
So sometimes when you're talking to people, you're talking to people about wholeness, they don't even know what wholeness means, because they're not there yet.
Yeah.
So sometimes
and they don't realize how broken they are.
No, and sometimes they come to you to see. And so what I was meaning to say, Aisha, is that we should not be comparing each other in regards to the things we have or the accomplishments, because God only knows the sacrifices that each person has to make to get to where they're going. But you are a very accomplished woman, and a lot of times people will look at you and...
I'm sorry. I think you can't see.
Oh, Lord.
I tried to keep it together.
So I'm saying this to say that you're very accomplished, and not every woman can look at you and say, damn, she's doing the thing. You know, there's always that question mark as to why and how much money.
Why is it her? Why did it have to be her?
Go ahead.
You know, she had it so easy. But people love to see the success, and they don't like to see all the failures. If you look at any successful person who's made it in life, it's because they were not afraid of failure, and they met failure and they bounced back from it. People are like, everything came so easy for you. I hit rock bottom. There was a point in my life a few years ago I was actually thinking that suicide was an only option, you know, like things got so real for me and things were so heavy. I kept hitting rejection, like nothing was going right. And you know what? Thank God I found God, and he showed me that there is a better way. There is purpose for your life, and you will make it. And the minute that happened, everything, my mindset changed. Life started changing, and good things started happening to me. When you put good energy out, it does come back to you.
Yeah.
If you're putting negative energy out, that's going to go back to you.
Yeah.
So all the people that like to hate on you and pray on your downfall, and they're wondering why it's not them, it's because you keep putting that negative energy out onto other people.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Like if you're putting out that negative energy, that's all you're gonna get back, because people are gonna be like, why do I want to put my positive energy out there if all you're gonna do is be negative? That's like my whole life is literally like, ask anybody. I love to be positive, and I love to just make sure that people know that. And like when somebody's negative, I'm like, God bless you. Like
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Chill out. Like I'm gonna step out, and we're gonna come back and be positive again. Take it the right way, and if you don't want to take it, I'm gonna walk away. And that's literally like,
That's that simple.
yeah, it's that simple.
I
Get
just
on
think,
board or get out.
yeah, I just think the law of attraction is important. But this is the thing, you must possess what you're putting out. And so with that, I think that for me, that's a good indicator of whether the friendship is going to be long term or not. I think that we really, as women, I think we need to invest in ourselves. And the better you become for yourself, the better you become as a friend to another girl, the better you become to be a mate to someone else, or just to improve, you know, the world itself, make an impact. And so I appreciate that you're always positive and so wise for your age. And so I've enjoyed this talk with you, girls.
I got this wise from my life.
And we do. Honestly, we all have a story. We do have a story. We go through stuff in life. We go through rock bottom. We go through crap. The strongest women that I know have awesome stories to tell about great failures and then become a great success
But
story.
failures is the key to success.
It is.
Yes.
You always want to keep
Gotta
trying.
be willing to fail.
God will use our failures to create our greatest testimony and our greatest story to impact other people. And I think as women, we can come together and uplift each other to
And
be
share
better
life lessons.
and share life lessons. To instead of bashing and putting down, that we're upholding each other up and holding each other accountable. That's a great word that you said. To do better. It doesn't matter what society is doing. Are we doing what's best for God if you're a person of faith, for each other if you're a human, regardless of anything, and for relationships, period. So it was good chatting with you girls. We'll have to do this again and probably talk about relationships and talk about boys.
Oh Lord, that's gonna be like a
So
3-hour thing.
meet me at Zero next week. It's been a pleasure. This week, just take some time to talk to your girlfriends, to possibly make a list of what's going right and what's wrong in the friendships that you have. Are you giving more than what you're receiving? Are you that person? For me, it's always hard to find that one person that I can go to when I'm having a severe, major problem. I used to have someone that would check on me every so often, and she passed away last year. I do have every so often. I have guy friends that check on me, and so it's a blessing just to have friendship. Friendship, I think, are so important. Cherish the people that you have in your life. Sometimes they come for a season. They don't last, not necessarily because they move away, but sometimes they're just here with us, and for a short time before they leave the earth. So meet me at Zero next week. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having
Be a blessing. Bye bye.